All right, today we're going to flip the script on that classic story. You know the one, David versus Goliath, but for the business world. We're going to talk about how AI is becoming the ultimate slingshot, giving small businesses the power to not just go head-to-head with the big guys, but to actually come out on top. But let's start with something I bet you know all too well. Ever lose a job to a competitor who, let's be honest, just isn't as good as you? You know your craft, right? You pour everything into it, and then some other company swoops in and gets the gig. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things for a small business owner, bar none. In this slide, man, this just hits the nail on the head. In a perfect world, your skill should be what wins the job, right? I mean, quality should always come out on top. But the brutal, honest-to-God truth of the market today? Speed. Speed is what's winning. The person who gets back to the customer first often lands the job, even if they're not the most qualified. It's wild. So this is what we're calling the speed versus skill problem. And listen, it's not about your prices being too high or you not having enough experience. It's just about timing. That's it. And once you really get that, you're on your way to solving it. I mean, just think about a typical day for you, right? You're in the zone. You're up a ladder, you're under a sink, you're focused on doing a great job for the client who's already paying you. And right then, your phone starts ringing. That's your next job, your next paycheck calling. But you can't just drop everything and answer, can you? You're busy working. So what happens? A couple hours go by, you finally get a break, you call them back all ready to go, and you get that line, "Oh, thanks for calling, but we already hired somebody." Ugh. Just like that, the job is gone, the money vanished. And it's not because your competitor was better. Nope, they were just faster. Now, it's super easy to look at those big companies, the ones that seem to be everywhere, and just think they've got some magic advantage you can't touch. But let's just tear that whole idea down. We'll call it the myth of size. You see these guys and you think, well, of course they're winning. They've got massive teams just to answer the phone, all these fancy, expensive systems, and what looks like a bottomless bank account. It feels totally unfair, right? Like you're showing up to a gunfight with a butter knife. Okay, but here's the twist. What if all those things, all those advantages, are actually holding them back? What if their greatest strengths are actually their biggest weaknesses in disguise?
It all comes down to one word: bureaucracy. Yep, all those big teams and complicated systems, they create endless layers of red tape. Decisions get stuck in meetings, approvals need a dozen signatures. Something that you can decide on in, 60 seconds? It could take them weeks. Their size makes them slow. It's a self-inflicted wound.
And that brings us to the most powerful idea we're going to talk about today. Your size, it's not a disadvantage. It's your secret weapon. It's your unfair advantage. The thing that lets you beat Goliath is how nimble and fast you are. I mean, just look at this comparison. This isn't an exaggeration, folks. You as a small business can make a decision and act on it in minutes. A big corporation, they're like a giant oil tanker. It takes forever for them to turn around. You're the speedboat, zipping around them, making moves before they even know what's happening. Okay, so you've got this incredible natural advantage, speed. The big question is, how do you weaponize it? How do you make that speed work for you 24/7, even when you're on a job site? The answer? It's AI. Seriously, just think of AI as your brand new employee, one who never sleeps, never takes a break, and is always on the clock. And this is where it becomes a total game changer. Don't think about complicated code or anything like that. It's just a simple, powerful process. First, AI acts like your receptionist, instantly responding to every single lead so nobody gets ignored. Then, it turns into your sales assistant, asking the right questions to see if they're a good fit. And finally, it's your personal scheduler booking the qualified jobs right into your calendar. And the best part? It all happens in the background while you're doing what you do best. But wait, it gets even better. AI isn't just about getting new customers. It's about unlocking a gold mine you're probably already sitting on. Get this, it is 5 times easier and cheaper to sell to a customer you already have than to find a new one. Think about that. That is a massive, massive opportunity. And here's the thing, the big companies, they've known this forever. They use their big fancy systems to automatically follow up with people. You know, sending a service reminder 6 months down the line or a special offer based on what you bought before. Well, guess what? Now you can do that exact same thing. You can turn that list of past customers into an automatic money-making machine. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hold on, isn't all this automation stuff kind of cold and impersonal? My whole business is built on my personal touch. And look, that is a totally fair question, but it's a myth.
The truth is, when you do it right, automation actually lets you be more human, not less.
So let's look at the winning formula here. It starts with what you already have, your secret sauce, that personal service. It's the one thing that giant corporations can never, ever copy. Your expertise, the way you connect with your customers, that's your foundation.
Okay, now we add a layer of smart automation on top of that. And remember, this is not about replacing you. It's about freeing you up. It handles all that boring initial stuff, the quick response, the basic questions, so the customer is taken care of instantly.
And when you put those two together, you get something that is absolutely unbeatable. The customer gets what they want right away, that instant response, and then they get you, the expert, for the important stuff. It's the best of both worlds, and it's a combo the big, slow companies just can't compete with. So let's bring it all home. You are David, and you're facing Goliath, but the game has totally changed. Goliath is slow, clumsy, weighed down by his own bureaucratic armor. And your slingshot? It's not just a rock anymore. It's AI automation. It's a precision weapon that lets you be faster, smarter, and more personal than any giant could ever hope to be. So the question isn't if you can win anymore. The only question left is, are you ready to pick up your slingshot?